Season 1 of The Mandalorian ended on a huge cliffhanger when we saw Moff Gideon use the Darksaber, and he revealed that the Empire crushed Mandalore following the second siege of Mandalore, which was initiated by Sabine Wren, and she handed the Darksaber to Bo-Katan Kryze and her Night Owls, and we just kind of assumed that Mandalore would be restored, but that's not the case. And from what we're finding out about season 2 of The Mandalorian is that it might possibly deal with the restoration of Mandalore. So I'm here to share the new news with you guys and to give my thoughts on it. So stay tuned. What's up, Star Wars fans? My name is Prince and I'm an urban acolyte. We've got more news about Star Wars, The Mandalorian, the series that's over on Disney Plus. Hey man, if you're new here, hey, we're talking all about The Mandalorian here on this channel. We get a little bit deeper. I give my thoughts and opinions, and sometimes I try to break down the story of Din Djarin from the point of view of Joseph Campbell's The Hero's Journey, right? We're all about storytelling and how you can take those lessons and try to apply them to the real world. So anyway, the news is that Bo-Katan Kryze will be in season 2 of The Mandalorian. I'm reading this from Bespin Bulletin's post on Instagram, but this is really coming from Slash Film. So I'm just going to read it to you guys before I give my thoughts on it. So today, Slash Film exclusively revealed that Bo-Katan Kryze will feature in season 2 of The Mandalorian, and that Katee Sackhoff will be starring as the character that she's voiced in both the Clone Wars and Rebels series. It's been long rumored that Bo-Katan would appear in season 2 of The Mandalorian, so I'm very pleased that the great folks over at Slash Film could get multiple sources on this scoop, and that Katee Sackhoff filmed her scenes in February before everything shut down. Last month, Discussing Film asked Katee Sackhoff about the rumors of Bo-Katan appearing in the second season of The Mandalorian, to which Sackhoff responded saying, "Of course, there are a lot of people that are going to jump to conclusions that Bo is going to be in The Mandalorian, because on paper it does make sense. But you know, we'll have to wait and see. Cross all my fingers and toes. You never know." The Mandalorian season 2 is set to release this October on Disney Plus. So it's sounding like it's going to be a thing that Katee Sackhoff is going to portray her character in the live action Star Wars, the Filoni verse, as I'm calling it now. You know, for a while I've been talking about Dave Filoni running Star Wars on the small screen, and other people coming in and handling things on the big screen. Now, this is a topic this could be a completely separate video, but there's been rumbling among the fandom as to whether or not Dave Filoni should become the Kevin Feige of Star Wars. And right now, Dave Filoni, I feel like, is the Kevin Feige of the small screen Star Wars verse. Should he have creative control over everything? I'm okay with it, but you know what? Right now, Dave Filoni is a member of the Lucasfilm Story Group, so he kind of already is, right? But like I said, that's a topic for a completely separate video. For this one, we're talking about Katee Sackhoff appearing as Bo-Katan Kryze and the possible restoration of Mandalore being a part of The Mandalorian. When I was sitting down and kind of brainstorming, trying to collect my thoughts for what I would say in this video, a little voice in my head said, you know what, Prince, you kind of already said all of this stuff. There are whispers or rumblings. Sabine Wren could turn up, or someone that is affiliated with what Sabine Wren was doing when we last saw the Mandalorian arc in season 4 of Star Wars Rebels. Every time we get new information, it's just sounding better and better and better. And I'm really excited to see what happens. Will we see Sabine Wren? I don't know, but that's something I've been, from day one, the first minute I started talking about this show, I said, hey guys, I think it's gonna It's going to give us more of the story on the Mandalorian Civil War. And I think the things that Sabine did in Rebels, we're going to see the aftermath of that. And she'll probably get mentioned or teased. And it sounded like that's exactly what's going to happen. So I don't know. And it turns out I did. Back in December of 2018, when we were just like hearing about the news, them going in production about the Mandalorian, I said all of this, that the Mandalorian was going to deal with the restoration of Mandalore, that there was speculations that we would see Sabine Wren on the show. And I said, well, if Sabine is there and we're dealing with the restoration of Mandalore, why not have bo-katan there as well? Why won't the Darksaber make an appearance? It turns out it did, and when the Darksaber finally showed up, I forgot. A year after I said all of this, I totally forgot that I predicted everything that is happening, right? Up until now, I didn't even remember that I said any of that, right? So that's something to remember. Some of these people who come back and try to throw my words at me is that, hey man, sometimes I'm flowing off the dome and words are coming out, but it's on to the next video. But anyway, I am liking this. I am liking the direction that the Mandalorian is going in. We still don't know where Baby Yoda fits into all of this. The first season, how Baby Yoda fits into this is that we learn all of this stuff from Gideon, who is pursuing Baby Yoda. We still don't know why he's pursuing Baby Yoda. I have some thoughts on that I haven't had time to put on film. But I'll just tell you guys right now, I think it would be a cool idea if Moff Gideon turned out to be Force sensitive. He's interested in experimenting, studying Baby Yoda for personal reasons. I mean, he already has the Darksaber, right? He's going to be dueling with the Darksaber a lot. And I mean, you don't have to be Force sensitive to use the Darksaber. I mean, bo-katan is probably not Force sensitive. I think it would be a cool aspect of his character to see someone who is a Force user, but not a Sith or a Jedi, who's like kind of out there trying to learn the Force on their own, right? Like this, the kid in the Force Collector book that I haven't finished. So yeah, I really feel like season 2, hey man, they're bringing some heat out, right? We got Bo-Katan coming back, Jango Fett. I keep saying Django, but he is Django. But Boba Fett is going to have a small appearance. I'm thinking that they're going to set everything up so in season 3 we're really dealing with a lot of stuff to deal with the restoration of Mandalore, right? This is supposed to be kind of a Game of Thrones type deal set in Star Wars. And the Game of Thrones the throne is going to be the title of Mandalore. That's what I feel like is happening, that this is really going to be about this guy who was like an outcast in as far as Mandalorian society is concerned, a no-name, a red shirt in Star Trek, right? And he becomes somebody, he becomes a hero, and he plays a huge part in restoring Mandalore and Mandalorian culture, undoing the wrongs that the Empire did, that Maul did, right? You know, it wasn't just the Empire, Maul and Death Watch and, well, I mean, the Clone Wars created that. So Palpatine messed up a whole lot of stuff. And now we're trying to clean up all the damage that Palpatine did. This is essentially what's happening. And we get to see how this impacted other people who aren't Jedi, who aren't directly connected to Anakin Skywalker in that story, right? These are spin-offs of the Skywalker saga. And hey man, I'm all here for it. We may even get spin-offs from this. Season 2 is going to set up Ahsoka, Sabine, Captain Rex, the sequel to Star Wars Rebels, right? Another animated series. Could it also set up another live-action series, several live-action spin-offs? When I first reported this back in, I think, January, I said, I don't know about it, but if popular characters are going to be introduced, because I said I didn't feel like any of the characters we've seen can carry their own series, because they're all connected to Baby Yoda and Din Djarin. But if we're bringing back other characters who were established in the lore, hey man, we just have to, hey, there's no telling what's in the mind of Dave Filoni and the Filoni verse that he's setting up. So I'm interested to see what they do and how they pull it off. I might not be all that excited for it initially, but hey man, like I said, I'm open to seeing what they do. What do you think about Bo-Katan Kryze showing up in season 2 of The Mandalorian? What are your thoughts on this storyline dealing with the restoration of Mandalore and, you know, Game of Mandalore, right? They're doing Game of Thrones about Mandalore. What do you think about that? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and I'll be checking back to see what you all have to say. And if you haven't subscribed already, go ahead and click that subscribe button and take your first steps towards becoming an urban acolyte. Embark on the journey to become the hero of your own story and become a force for change in your community. You can continue to support the channel by sharing this video. Please share it. It helps a lot. And that's all I got for this one. So thanks for watching. Y'all keep on breathing, and may the force of others be with you always.